and welcome everybody to another fascinating episode of Nothing Like a Good Book, is there? Well, nothing different today, I'm telling you. This is a beauty. It's set sometime in the near future. Earth is reeling from its first contact with a predatory alien species, the Ikori, whose attack wreaked catastrophe on the planet. God, I don't like the sound of that. It harvested precious resources and drained the oceans. And Daria, a human ICU doctor, struggles with loneliness and wishes for a partner to share her life, but puts her own desires aside to tend to the wounded. I would think so. On the heels of the invasion, things look dire until another species of aliens, the Luperans, show up to help repair and rebuild. Wow. KAIRN, Mates of the Alliance by Fionne Foxxe Farraday has won the International Impact Award in Romance. Good on you. And I welcome her from Cookeville in Tennessee. Fionne Foxxe Farraday, welcome.
Thank you for having me on your show, Mark.
Hey, sounds exciting, this book, I got to tell you. Daria and KAIRN's story started off as just a fleeting idea, is that right?
Yes, definitely. It was... I was on medical leave. I had a little medical scare back in March of 2020, and they put me on no call for 6 weeks and off all work for 2 weeks. And I kind of went stir crazy, read all the books on my read list, watched all the TV shows I've been wanting to binge watch, and then kind of ran out of things to do. So I started fiddling with this idea.
Well, you never know how things are going to start when you're doing a book. There's lots of stories within themselves about that, and yours is just one of them. Now, I want to share this, folks. At the IIBA Awards, books are not judged against competing titles, but they are reviewed by the judges and experts based on a scoring system, and that evaluates the quality of the writing and the production of the book. So in the wake of an alien invasion that has devastated Earth, disaster and destiny align to bring together a human doctor, Daria, and KAIRN, the handsome Luperan military officer serving as an ambassador for the Galactic Alliance. And you did exceptionally well winning that award. So first of all, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
You are an... Go on.
Oh, no. That was... It was quite an honor. I appreciated that greatly.
Must have been an experience. You are an experienced physician working in pulmonary and critical care medicine, combining your personal experiences in the ICU and experiences of military family members who served in World War II and Vietnam to create your intriguing and central literary debut, which in effect, Fionne, came out of you being forced to take medical leave, as you say. Now, what about the beginning of the first wave of the pandemic when COVID was just making itself known? You know, you were losing far too many patients, and despite all the tools you had at your disposal, apparently, there was a building sense of frustration and burnout in the ICU, particularly among the nursing staff. That must have been a terrible sensation for you to go through.
Well, you know, it's a team effort, and how the units work is the doctors round, and they round in all the patients, and the nurses have usually about 2 patients, sometimes 1. And they're there for 12 hours, so they're at the bedside. And generally speaking, you know, I'll spend maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and I'll move along, and I see the patients in the unit. These nurses are committed to their patients for this 12-hour shift. And once we let families back in, you know, they're the only support system for the families as well. So, yeah, there was a lot of burnout. And, you know, they call us, you know, the patient's unstable, you know, this is happening, we need you to come back. So they're the ones who are actually on the front lines, and they're our eyes and ears because, you know, we have to see the rest of the service. So we move along and they call us back and say, so-and-so is decompensating. We need you here now.
And no two ways about it. Yeah, be there.
Yes. And there was, when I came back from my leave, that's when the first wave of COVID was getting started. And it was extremely frustrating for everybody involved. And it was very hard to leave work at work for a while because there were so many patients and there were so many people not doing well. We were losing entire families for a while. It was really, truly indescribable.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed a pressure relief valve, and I started writing. And it served as a great coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It does. It still does.
Fabulous. You know, KAIRN, Mates of the Alliance. writing it as a cathartic way of handling the stresses of medical care right through a global pandemic, ironically. And now we're talking about what the Luperians have done. Now, in a way, though, you say this is largely a love letter to your co-workers who kept coming in to face nearly insurmountable problems day after day. And you wanted to give them, a happy ending. Wanted to give everybody a happy ending, even if it was fictional.
And hope.
And hope.
And hope.
Yeah. And the more you wrote, the more the
'cause
writing. The characters took on a life of their own. I think that's fabulous. I really do.
Oh, thank you. It was actually funny because initially I started off with sort of a kind of like a rough outline, at least in my head. And the characters would be, nope, not going there. That doesn't work. We're going to do this. And it was kind of comical after a while. It's like, well, that's not what I planned to write, but that works well. Okay, we'll go with it.
Folks, there's 223 pages in it. It's a good read. It's only $4.99 on Kindle. And Mates of the Alliance, you can go to www.matesofthealliance.com. And you can also see a book trailer on my site on markbishopmedia.com. Go to Nothing Like a Good Book, and you'll be able to watch that trailer as well. Now, it is your first book, and as a medical professional, you've got a busy career. I mean, we know what led you to writing fiction. What's the end goal for you with this?
Well, I used to be a very avid reader, and now I'll read occasionally, but most of the time, to de-stress, I will write, and I pretty much write every day, at least a couple hundred words. It feels almost like you've got an itch that you haven't scratched if I don't write. So the reason why I write is because it is an escape from work, which is still a little stressful, and it's a complete change of pace. And I can write whatever I want. I can write happy endings. I can write hope and, happiness and romance and comedy through it if I want to. And that's been a wonderful coping mechanism because the last couple of years have been rather dark and for everyone, unfortunately.
Well, it is indeed. And it's unusual. When you go to read this, folks, there is the word KAIRN. Okay, I thought it was can, but it is pronounced KAIRN. Mates of the Alliance. It's a story of unexpected love found across light years and species, reminding readers how little differences matter in the face of true love and deep commitment. And Farraday skillfully entwines humor and romance in a solid sci-fi background that'll leave you longing for more. It's slow burn, feel good, boy meets girl romance that will provide you, the reader, with an escape from the stresses of daily life. Boy, we could do with that. And a tribute to total monogamy. Karen Karen and Daria are refreshing and extraordinarily sexy. How is that? Tell us.
Well, Daria's been lonely a long time, and she's always put her personal life on a back burner, and she never expected to find someone. She's kind of wished for it, but never found the right person. Mm-hmm. And, she's completely taken unawares when she first sees him. And initially, because they are humanoid, but they're about 8 feet tall. They've got, tall tufted ears. They sort of look lupine, wolf-like. They've got claws and a tail and rather sharp teeth. And when he recognizes her instantly, and it takes her a while to come around. But the first time he smiles, it scares the living bejesus out of her. And then she realizes that that's his smile. And she doesn't see as they spend more time together, she doesn't see the teeth or the fangs, the claws, and the tail. She just sees him.
Stone the crows. I mean, how do you fall for that? Tell me. Karen paints accurate pictures from both medical and military settings. I mean, did you do any special research to help you bring these environments to life in your story?
Well, I cheated because I'm in the medical profession, so I didn't do any research into that part per se. But I did get a little imaginative with the tech that the aliens bring with them, the Luperans. The military portion, I cheated because my husband was in the 82nd Airborne, and my kids were in the Coast Guard. So I just kind of picked their brains for weapon questions because I'm not, let's just say I'm a klutz, and that's putting it kindly. I don't use weapons. I'd be more inclined to shoot myself by accident. But that was where I got my sources for the military portion.
Well, also in this, there's the other mob, the IIBA. They're the baddies. They attack and wreak catastrophe on our beautiful planet. They also harvested precious resources. They drain the oceans. That's nasty.
Yeah.
And Daria, a human ICU doctor, struggles with loneliness, wishes for a partner to share her life, but puts her own desires to tend to the wounded. And on the heels of the invasion, things look dire. And then all of a sudden, a silver cloud of lightning, another species of aliens, the Luperans, show up to help, repair, and rebuild. Now, that's a good sign, isn't it? Because it's pretty nasty before that happens.
Yeah. Yes, and they actually get the Earth looking better than it had in years, decades.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, at its heart, really, it's a story about two people, isn't it, who stumbled upon the one thing that they never expected, the one imperfect individual who was perfect, though, for them. And I wanted them to experience the heady wonder, heights and depths of truly unconditional love. You are a romantic, aren't you?
Deep down underneath that thick skin, yes.
You've, well, we talked about having extensive background in medicine and working directly, in areas impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The inspiration for you, the sci-fi elements, the actual sci-fi elements, though, of KAIRN. How did you decide what the Luperans and the IIBA would be like?
Well, I wanted the Luperans to be sort of, basically their ship is called the Guardian. And I wanted them to be sort of the guardian of the sheep, of the flock, so to speak. And because of that, I drew on herd protectors, guardians, which are canines, which is why they look kind of wolf-like in nature or dog-like in nature. The IIBA, I wanted them to inspire admiration and maybe a healthy amount of fear. So I made them look kind of reptilian/dragon-like. And I left some of the details. I drew in broad strokes, but I wanted people's imaginations to be able to fill in the details.
Yeah, because, reading is the theater of the mind, isn't it, when you think about it? Because I can imagine whatever I want to imagine, right?
Yes, and I think that's most of the fun part.
Well, you've mentioned that, you are an avid reader. Okay, so give us an idea of what one author, your first book, okay, what are your favorite works of fiction? Which books have influenced you the most as a writer?
There are two very disparate books that come to mind, or series authors. One is, she's from the 1960s, and her name was Nerina Hilliard, and she died, unfortunately, very young from breast cancer, I think in her late 20s. She didn't write many books. And they were conservative because that was the time in the 1960s. But the chemistry and the magnetism between the characters was evident in her writing. And the intimacy of their bond was very easily seen. The other author that I really am very fond of is Grace Draven. She wrote something called Radiance. And it's about I guess you could call them, just to simplify it maybe, oversimplify maybe, dark elves who do a political alliance with a human kingdom, and they wed the second-born son of the dark elves to a niece of the king. And it's how two cultures who are completely disparate and seem to have nothing in common seem to come together, because he's sort of like KAIRN. He's very foreign-looking for a human per se. He has fangs, and he has sharp claws, and he's downright frightening looking. And they're in this, and it's comical, some of their encounters, and they end up being friends first, and then they end up falling in love, and that just kind of struck a chord. And I wanted to do something similar but different. I wanted it to be completely alien.
You can say that again.
Yes.
It's going to be good. You're listening to Nothing Like a Good Book with Mark Bishop, my special guest for her first book, Fionne Foxxe Farraday. And this is all about a smart and sexy first novel by this young lady, and weaves together themes of friendship, environmental care, and commitment against the backdrop of a sweeping intergalactic romance. Is that about it, Fionne?
Yes, I think that's a wonderful summary of it. the funny thing is because this is I use this as therapy, so I'm still writing. So it's been very good therapy, and it's free therapy, so it's even better.
Well, it must be great to come out of the blocks with a an award already. First up, I mean, it must be a thrill.
Oh, it was a surprise. It was an honor, and this has been a crazy roller coaster ride.
What
Completely different.
Yeah,
of course,
very.
medicine.
I bet you from the stern world of medicine and focused death all around you and God knows what else. I can really understand now how this became an escape for you. It makes sense. So, what ideas about the current state of the world do you hope, KAIRN, Mates of the Alliance, will inspire the reader to consider?
Well, in the beginning of the book, the Luperans they're all generally the same body build and all whatnot, but they have different colored fur, different colored eyes, and when KAIRN is appointed ambassador, he initially meets with a lot of the former government of Earth, and somebody makes the comment of, you're okay because he's got silver fur, but we don't know about some of the ones with and it sounds very racist, I'm sorry, different colored fur. We don't know about those. And KAIRN's comeback is, that's just genetics. It's a slight color difference in fur and skin tone and whatnot, and I thought better of you than that. We judge on merit and talent and skill, and that is what our officers and our crew are judged by, and I thought that's what you did, and this is very disappointing.
What?
And he indicates that very clearly and basically sends all of them away and looks for other people on Earth to work with because he realizes that they would have not the best
Fur.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm having a
No, I know
little mental
what you
block here.
mean. Yeah.
Anyway, best interests of truly of all the people on Earth and in mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of feelings to it. I mean, let me ask you this then. What do you hope the reader will experience as they read KAIRN, Mates of the Alliance?
I want them to feel it, because woven throughout this book and also through some of the ones after is a thread of hope, and that, the Earth is our home. We have one. We need to take better care of it. Also that, sentience is not limited to just humans. And we kind of take that for granted sometimes. And some of the characters in the book and some of the characters in some of the later books are not human and not alien. They're actually animals who play actually rather large roles in some of the novels. And they have some of the animal characters steal a lot of the scenes, actually.
Okay. Well, are they friendly? That's
yeah.
the most important
The animals
thing.
are very friendly.
That's good.
Most of them are friendly. There are a few who they have reasons for what they do, shall we say?
Right. How can humor, romance, and fiction, do you think, serve as tools for reflection and a way of staying hopeful in the midst of, dark and difficult times?
Well, I think, it gives us hope. It gives us something to look forward to. It is an escape, and it's something to aim for. And, life isn't perfect. People aren't perfect, but we can do so much better. And, this, when you write fiction, it's, of course, you can idealize it however much you want, but it's something for people to go, that maybe not in its entirety, but I want something like that. And, I'm not going to settle. And maybe just being comfortable isn't enough. And I need to look toward more. And, it gives people food for thought. And, there are, as recent headlines has proven, there is other life out there.
Well, I mean, it is unusual and more than a little countercultural, if you like, to find a romance novel that centers total monogamy as an appealing and sexy choice. What makes this so important for you to include as an aspect of this book?
I think that being able to trust someone completely and not have to worry, are they going to be faithful? Are they loyal? Are they flirting? I think that says a lot. And it's a level of commitment. It takes discipline because we are human. And it's, of course, easier for the characters in my book because they're fictional. And KAIRN basically has been living a life of just a hard, war-torn, battle-hardened warrior. And when he finds his one mate in Daria, he only has eyes for her, literally.
Hmm.
And he is polite, he is civil, he is articulate with other females, but he only has eyes for her. He kind of imprints on her, and I think that's something that there's something to be said for faithfulness and monogamy. And everyone makes it. Everyone has their own choices, but I think it's very attractive. It's very attractive for them, certainly, and most of the characters in the secondary characters who will hopefully have books of their own, and some of them do, feel the same way.
Mm, mm.
And,
Well, KAIRN, Mates of the Alliance, it kicks off a longer series of books. Will we find out more about KAIRN and Daria? How about, Darzik and Emily?
yes, the second book is about Darzik and Emily. And KAIRN and Daria definitely have roles to play in the second book. And you end up hearing little snippets about all of the prior characters in the oncoming books to see what's going on in their lives, and are they planning to have a family, and what animals have they bonded with. So it's interesting because they do make little appearances in future books down the line.
Well,
They can stand alone, but they are all interconnected for sure.
Oh, great. Well, that'll make sense. Look forward to that one. Can we expect any off-world travel in the upcoming sequel?
Let's see. There is off-world travel. I don't think it's not in the sequel, though. It's in a couple books down the line.
Oh, a couple of books down the line. We got a series coming up for television, have we?
Let's put it this way. I had apparently needed a lot of therapy, so I've been writing quite a bit.
Oh,
but they actually are they are actually working on a screenplay, which I think is really mind-boggling. I can't believe they're doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't believe they're doing that.
Well, give us a clue. Come on, something on the inside. Who's doing it? What for and when?
He's writing it currently. They just finished the book, and they're writing the first, I believe they called him Acts. His name is Oliver, and he's out in Oregon. No, excuse me. Yeah. No, Oregon. I keep trying to say Seattle, but I think it's Oregon.
Well, that's fabulous. Well, good luck with that. You're about the third author now in Nothing Like a Good Book that has got screenplays going on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Kevin Chewy's one of them. He's won an enormous amount of awards across the world. I think he's just won the new London one as well. And that's a ripper for him. So his is, the Bad Love Stories. That's fabulous. Well, I wish you, all the very best. Where can people buy this book now?
It's available on Amazon for Kindle and also on Barnes & Noble for Nook. And they will have a softcover paperback sometime this fall, probably about September or so, October.
Okay. And do you like the little trailer, the book trailers they're doing these days?
Oh, gosh. I love the book trailer. Actually, I've watched it a ridiculous number of times.
Good on you. Why not? Well, it's on my site, folks. Just go to markbishopmedia.com, www.markbishopmedia.com, and go to NLGB, Nothing Like a Good Book in the shows. All right. And you'll be able to play that for yourself. But it's been an absolute pleasure. This is a most unusual book, but I think it's going to be definitely a winner. KAIRN, Mates of Alliance, and Fionne Foxxe Farraday. FFF, huh?
Yeah, I figured that would be easy to remember.
Yeah.
It's a pen name.
Well done. And your very first book, yes?
Yes, definitely.
Fabulous. Well, you've done a marvelous job. Thank you for all your good work during, the worst of the pandemic. And it's lovely to it was enough to get through that. But you put your mind to something else, and it's become a winner. Clever girl. Good on you.
Thank you so much, Mark.
All right.
No, thank you. Thank you for letting me talk with you.
Hey, it's been a pleasure. It's been lovely having you on the show, and all the very, very best. And we'll make sure we get a copy of the link. We'll send it to you as well, okay?
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
All right. Goodbye now.